boy named Diddley had a dream so big it made him feel all giddy. He loved UFC, the fights and the thrills, so he started a podcast to share all the chills. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Down the fights, every punch and kick, analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights would leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Every punch and kick, analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights will leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. NFTs and fighters, a digital blend. Diddley's got the scoop, he's always on trend. From rare collectibles to the latest bout, the Final Strike podcast, there's never a doubt. Listeners from afar, they gather around for Diddley's insights, the best in town. With every episode, his fame would grow. The Final Strike podcast, the ultimate show. Even when the market's tough and times are lean, Diddley's resilience shines, he's always keen. Through highs and lows, he stands his ground. In the world of UFC, he's renowned. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Podcast stream, bringing UFC and NFTs to the mainstream. With every word, he lights up the night. The Final Strike podcast, shining so bright.
What up, everybody? Happy Saturday. UFC 309, Madison Square Garden. John Jones versus Stipe. Let's go. It's finally happening. Finally happening. Thank you, everybody, for hopping in this fine Saturday. Hopefully it's better than last night, like Trey said, for sure. It was a rough one watching Tyson last night. My man couldn't even walk, bro. It was crazy, crazy. But thanks, everybody, for hopping in. Appreciate you guys hanging out. We do have two pay-per-view codes. Excuse me. Talking too fast. We got two pay-per-view codes available today. We're going to run them later in the show, so make sure you hang on and hang around till later because we will announce the winners. Go ahead and type 309 in the chat, and we will run both of those codes at the end of the day. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the video. Thank you guys for popping in. What's good? Holler at everybody. Thank you guys for popping in. Appreciate you guys. And we're going to get right into it. We're going to get right into it here. I'm going to pop my screen open. Seems like there are a lot of pay-per-view codes available. Change in sponsorship. Maybe, or end of the year. Budget's not used, so there's only so many pay-per-views left for the year. So that's probably what it is, I'm thinking, Trey. But who knows? But with that said, let's get into Strike. Don't forget, to hit that thumbs up, all my 309s in the chat. Appreciate you guys. So I haven't been on for a couple weeks, and we'll get into a couple of the past challenges. We'll touch on them briefly, talk about the reward, and we'll get through those in a little bit. But I don't want to spend too much time on strike because we are going to go through the entire fight card from the early prelims all the way to that main championship bout. So, my Thailand, what's up, buddy? How are you? How are you, my Thai friend? That shit's funny. But here we go. 309 multi-challenge event dropped yesterday. Kind of a doozy. So 2 challenges, 2 separate awards. The first challenge is a reward being the DC champion moment. It's going to be minted to a minimum edition of 50. So if 25 people complete it, there'll still be 50 of them minted, and Strike will hold those, probably put them in packs or whatever down the line, right? So for the first challenge, you have 2 different steps to complete it to get this DC champion. I did like a few things about this challenge. Let me break down the structure first. But the first path was to collect all of our heavyweight champions, which are John Jones, Stipe, and Cyril Gane. So you have to hold those 3 champions along with Aspinall, Lewis, Prohashka, and Oliveira Epics. DC's rare, John Jones's rare, and Stipe's rare. If you hold all those moments, congratulations, you get a DC. That was the first way to get it. The second way to get it is by burning. So you could burn any one light heavyweight or heavyweight champion. They gave you the list here. You got a bunch of different names. As you can see, all the different light heavyweight and heavyweight champions listed right there, along with burning Gustafsson Epic, Roy Nelson, DC, and all those moments right there. Pretty hefty burn. Yeah, it's pretty hefty. It's a pretty hefty burn for sure. And like I said, the reward, so that was the first part. Either collect this or burn. So you do 1 or 2. To complete step 1, you either go with path A to collect or path B to burn. Once you do one or the other, can't do both. You do one or the other. You also have to burn 2 of each of the commons here of John Jones, Stipe, Derek Lewis, and Anthony Rumble Johnson. So you burn those 8 on top of it, whether you did the collection or the burn, you will qualify for the DC. And I like the fact that they allowed us to choose which DC champion moment it's going to be. I haven't really looked back at them, to be honest, but I am going to take a look this weekend. I'm not sure what you guys are thinking as the best one for him. His sub versus Derek Lewis, his KO versus Volkan Oezdemir, or his decision win against Alexander Gustafsson. Please just bleed, gods. Let us stay at 50 or lower. We inflated Marab hard. Well, I think Marab was a little special because it was a noche. Dana said it noche. Whole thing is going to be one and done with the sphere. So I think that's why a few people went a little hard on it. But yeah, so I think Marab was a little bit, had a little bit more completions on it. Just because the whole sphere and noche surrounding the event. See how that looks when the moment's actually made. Let's see what we got here. Gotta go Lewis sub. Last win of his career. Yeah. Gotta think maybe Lewis, right? Maybe Lewis. Yeah, I'm kind of leaning on the Lewis one as well. But I am gonna watch the other 2 back just to double check and see if I missed anything. But I do like that they gave us the option to pick. That's pretty cool. Maybe once they make the Ilya champion, they'll let us pick between the Volk KO and the Holloway KO. That's a pretty tough decision. Wouldn't you guys agree? Which one would you pick if they gave us the decision with Ilya? A Volk KO or a Max KO? Tough. I'm thinking probably Max. I'm thinking probably Max. You want to know why I'm thinking Max? I'm thinking Max because Islam buttered up Volk for him already. KO'd him right before that, you know? So I'm thinking that Max one, never been knocked out in his career. Granted, Volk's a beast, but he just came off a knockout. He already came off a knockout. I did like, they're both pretty clean. Volk, because I don't want to see Max get knocked out ever again. Max was too painful to watch. Lol, gotta go Volk. Everybody's talking with their heart, man. It's sad. It's sad. Max KO. It hurts to see Volk KO. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's tough. Looks like we got a good debate here. So it'll be interesting to see if they actually come through like that. But challenge number 2. That's the DC. Pretty tough. I believe your bottleneck on the champ is Cyril Gahn, over $1,200. And then here, the burn pieces, where's Gustafsson? He's going down. I think it's the DC Rare is the one you got to worry about besides the champ, obviously, that you got to burn. So anything else? Kind of, no, not really. I think the DC Rare is the trickier one here, but all the pieces down here is it's a little over, I think, $400, something like that. So we got DC John Nelson, $30. So yeah, it's like 150 plus the champ. So about 400, 450-ish to complete it if you go the burn route. Well, that's that. That's that on the challenge. Pretty good. I like it. It's tough to get that champion. It's a tough one. And then for challenge number 2, it's similar to how we had it for, I believe, 308 with the results-based collector burn on the commons. But this one is multi-complete, not like the first one. You can definitely complete this multiple times. So we'll start at the top. Based on if the fighter wins or loses, you'll have to collect and or burn if they lose. No contest, draw, or canceled bout, you'll have to collect. So Stipe or John, definitely going to have to burn one of those. Chandler, Oliveira, you're definitely going to have to burn one of those. And then Onama and Nickel are not fighting each other, obviously different weight classes, but got to keep your eye on those. But definitely we'll have to burn either a Stipe or a John or a Chandler or an Oliveira to do the first path if you want one. The second path is just holding a few moments here, a couple fandoms, uncommon and a common. So if you hold the following 4 moments, you get 1 automatic completion. Chandler, Craig, Silva, and McGee. That'll get you 1. Pretty easy there. I don't think the Chandler fandom's too crazy, so not too bad. Then on top of that, we also have the Champ Club pass to get you 1. If you have a John Jones or Stipe, you get 1. If you have John Jones and Stipe, you get 2. If you have 2 of each of these, you get 2. If you burn 2 of all the ones you need to burn and hold 2 of all the ones you need to hold, you get 2. So you could complete each step multiple times. So have at it, ladies and gentlemen. The reward is an uncommon moment of Jonathan Martinez, his KO of Adrian Yanez. I'd say it's more of a TKO. It was pretty much like a leg kick, kind of Yanez couldn't walk anymore situation. So I don't know. I don't know if I would have minted that one specifically, but I'm glad Mr. Martinez got a moment. He's a good up and coming fighter, and he's an underdog tonight that I think might win. So I'll take it. But that's the challenge. Pretty solid. pretty solid, I would say. Um, yeah, I'm not sure why they're doing the uncommons. Probably because they just need to fill some of those. I mean, we're coming up on December next month, so Q4 rewards are right around the corner. So those things are going to have to get filled up with some stuff. And I believe based on what I was reading in Discord the last few weeks, obviously we've been out of office for a couple weeks, took a little break, had some time off, went away for a little bit with the fam. But during that time, did sound like there is a pack drop on the horizon. So if a pack drop is on the horizon, some of these things could be put in there to fill up those packs as well. So there is definitely a drop. As I didn't say pack drop, but they didn't say pack drop. They said a drop. A drop is in the works. So we'll see. We'll see what's up with the drop. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. With that said, not too bad of a challenge. Good luck, everybody, completing it. It's going to be a tough one to get that DC if you're going the burn route. So, yeah, we'll take a look. We'll take a look and see. Next up on the list. Just going to go through a couple challenges that we missed. The last time we talked, we were at UFC 308. That challenge was live. I believe it was the Robert Whitaker and the Abuse. Yep. So this challenge finished up. We did not hit the 100 limit on the Robert Whitaker. And that Robert Whitaker epic is going to be the new set bottleneck for the epics. I believe we hit like 94 completions on it. And Strike will be holding 6 of them back, and it's minted to 100. So that is the new bottleneck for the epic set, that Robert Whitaker from the 308 challenge. And then we also have the Abuse Uncommon, which was minted to 1,000. That will be coming as well. We have the Marab Champion. That challenge finished up as well. We went over the 50, and we hit 63 on that one. So that one wrapped up. And then also we had the Jim Miller right here. That wrapped up last week. It was an epic, I believe, to 248. Or was it a rare? I don't remember. Was it epic? So it's an epic. 248, and it's an epic. So our list of outstanding rewards has grown a little bit, guys. So I'm going to break it all down for you real quick. So we have the Khalil Roundtree back from 307. The Roundtree we're still waiting on. We're waiting on Robert Whitaker, Abus Magomedov, Merab Devalishvili's champion moment, Jim Miller's epic, and now we're also adding DC's champion and Jonathan Martinez's uncommon to the count, which is a grand total of 7 after this challenge ends. There will be 7 outstanding rewards to be delivered. So, yeah. Let's get on it. Let's get on it. That Roundtree was from how long ago? October 4th. So about a month and a half, coming up on a month and a half on the Roundtree. So that's where we're at on the outstanding. So yeah, they got to catch up. They got to catch up next week. Hopefully they catch up quick and like drop 3 or 4 of them at the same time type deal. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But with that said, that's all we got for Strike. We're going to get into this fight card. 309's in the chat. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up on the video. And the fight card, I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. I wouldn't say it's crazy amazing. There's a lot of heavy favorites on this card. A lot of heavy favorites that are probably going to win. Reminder. Thanks for the reminder. Appreciate the reminder, Wolfie. Because I don't own one, I don't think about them either. You know, I'm not one of the select few. Let me just pop open Discord here real quick. Where did they announcements? Zoom in here a little bit. All right. Thanks, Wolfie, for the reminder. So also, yesterday morning, they announced that each emerald key has been tagged with the moment associated with it of their 1 of 1 that they're getting. So we'll break them all down. There's a few moments that are questionable to me. I would have selected a couple other fights myself, but overall, not too bad. So the first key is Mighty Mouse's sub over Ray Borg, the flying armbar, which was crazy, absolutely nuts. Definitely a deserving moment of a 1 of 1. I like it. John Jones subbing Cyril Gane at UFC 285 after 2-3 years off. Pretty epic situation in itself for sure. Moving up the weight class after a couple years off, all that good stuff. Plus these guys who have the Jones, and there's a Stipe in here as well. They're going to have an option after the fights today. Next one, you got Vitor Belfort knocking out Luke Rockhold. So it is a pretty spectacular finish for sure. Maybe not. It's one that, I mean, I might not have went with personally, but I'll give you some other options once we're done with the list. Next one, BJ Penn submitting Matt Hughes, which was pretty wild. Penn doing the double champ or second belt up a weight class. He's always been a badass. I like this fight for Penn. The Hughes was pretty nasty. Solid. I'll take the Penn. Stipe KO in DC. So Stipe gets his heavyweight title after he knocks out DC, and the crying DC face meme and all that good stuff was there. Pretty good. I mean, it's a pretty good moment. I'm glad they gave these guys the options with the Stipes and the Johns, because you know they might want to switch it out. Maybe not. Definitely the Stipe, maybe, but not bad. Key number 6. Shout out to key number 6, man. This is the one I wanted, boy. This is the one I wanted. Key number 6 gets Jorge Masvidal's knockout over Ben Askren. Absolutely insane knockout. And that shit was wild. I have to say, that knee, absolutely nuts. Like, how fast was it? 4 seconds? I know they marked it as 7 seconds, but that's bullshit. That's bullshit. But yeah, it's number 6. Number 7. Holly Holm KOing Ronda Rousey. Was a pretty epic moment for sure. Everybody was like, Ronda's a world beater, and Holly Holm went in there and head kicked her to oblivion. Insane. Number 8, we got Yoel Romero knocking out Chris Weidman at UFC 205. Yoel gets his strike debut. I mean, this is another one that I'm on the fence with. I'm not sure who got number 8, but I mean, it was a good knockout and all. But I think there's a few more epic fights than that, epic moments than that for sure. Key number 9, Weidman is on the other end now, so he just got knocked out. Now he's knocking out Anderson Silva, which was pretty crazy. Silva was totally fucking around a lot in that fight, and man, oh man, was rough. Seeing the GOAT at the time drop like that. And key number 10, Edson Barbosa knocking out Terry Etim at UFC 142. Everybody pretty much knows this one. The guy went stiff as a board, put Edson Barbosa on the map. Absolutely disgusting. Absolutely disgusting knockout. So those are the 10. Couple ones that, I mean, I already said the ones that on the fence with, not maybe would have liked swapped out, but there's a couple fights, 3 fights in particular that came to mind right away. Maybe even 4 now that I think about it. But I started thinking about double champ moments right away. So Connor, obviously, double champ moment. Amanda Nunes knocking out Cyborg was, if you like anybody that was watching the sport at that time and was watching that pay-per-view, like that shit was nuts. That was nuts. And like I was commenting in Discord, I was saying like I'm pretty sure one of those gifs of Joe Rogan and them going crazy on on the announcer table is the Cyborg Nunes fight. Joe was screaming out of his mind, bro. That was one. We got the Conor double champ. I was thinking Lawler versus Rory McDonald 2. Forrest Griffin versus Stephan Bonner. 2 fights that really were just absolute bloodbath wars that put the UFC like on the map or like into the next, the next wave of popularity, so to speak. But those are a few that I think were left out, to be honest. And I'm really shocked they didn't go with the Connor. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Congrats to those who got them. And yeah, it'll be interesting to see when these are minted, how they look, how long they are. So I'm sure they're going to be like a lot longer cut, looking different. So it'll be interesting to check those out once they finally drop. Sounds like they're going to be dropping soon. So we'll see. We'll see. Fedor Pride Ultimate would have been epic. Yeah, Fedor's another name that people want to see. Rampage, Slam, definitely another crazy moment. But yeah, that's what it is. Thanks again, Asian Wolfie, for the reminder on that. Appreciate you. With that said, now let's get into the fight card. First fight of the night on the early prelims. And don't forget to get your 309s in the chat. Hit the thumbs up on the video. Veronica Hardy versus Eduarda Mora. Pretty much a pick'em fight here, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty much a pick'em fight. Hardy is definitely probably the better striker in the matchup. Mora's going to want to take this fight to the ground. A couple interesting things to note on this fight. Eduarda Mora was fighting at, I think she was fighting at strawweight before this, and now is moving up to flyweight. So she was maybe having a bit of a rough weight cut. And because she was really big for the weight class too, but she would tend to gas in her fight. So this is her first fight moving up at flyweight. And as you can see in the tail of the tape, she is even still the bigger fighter at the bigger weight class with the height and the reach advantage. So I wouldn't be surprised if she has her way with Veronica Hardy in the grappling, and holds her down, maybe shoots for a subby somewhere. But could be just a lot of like control, ground and pound, decision type of fight. As you can see, she shoots a lot of takedowns as well. Hardy does, she does okay defensively against grappling, but I think she's gone against girls that are either a little bit smaller than her or close to her size, never somebody that's got a pretty significant size advantage. So I'm leaning on Mora to get the job done, to start this one off. Probably by decision. I think it's going to be a very grapple heavy type of fight. I don't suspect anybody getting a finish. That's not a bad number right there. Plus 210 by points. Yeah, they think the fight's going to go the distance as well. So that's the first one. Girls start us off. Going into the next one, we got Oban Elliott versus Basil Hafez. They got my boy, the Habibi. He's a big dog here, bro, which is wild to me. Because this man, you guys remember, this guy gave Jack Della Maddalena a run for his money 2 fights ago. So, and he's won his one or two fights after. So he hasn't lost since the JDM fight. People argued that he won that JDM fight, and he's a beast, dude. He's a beast. So it's a pretty tough test for Oban Elliott. I do think they like him just because he's a good striker. But man, the pace that this guy puts on you and the grappling he's going to put on Oban, I think it's going to be a problem. I think it's going to be a problem for him. And I'm liking Hafez to get it done, baby. I'm liking the Habibi to get it done. That's right. And if you don't know, watch that JDM fight back, dude. This guy is a dog. The guy is a dog. So, and Oban, and he took that JDM fight on like a week's notice too, which was crazy. Preston Parsons, Val Woodburn, like, yeah, these guys aren't, yeah. And I'm always a strength of schedule guy too, so I'm gonna rock with whoever fought and performed well against tougher competition. And I think that's definitely our boy, Mr. Basil Hafez, the Habibi. And he's a plus 250. So might be cashing some checks early, baby. Yeah, it's pretty wild. Next up, the guy who just lost to the Habibi, Mickey Gall, going up against Ramiz Brahmaj. And Ramiz, he was out for a while. I know he had some kind of surgery done. I think it was neck surgery. And he was out for like a couple years. Came back. and lost to Themba. Yep, I remember this one. He lost to Themba. It was pretty close, but definitely after a 2-year layoff, as you can see, 2022 to 2024, one could be a little rusty in there. So he's sitting as the dog here. I do know that Mickey Gall, he struggles a little bit with pressure. So if Ramiz tries to implement some pressure early on, could work in his favor. They are pretty evenly matched in terms of the grappling area. But it looks like Gall definitely throws more. Definitely more of a striker, more volume there in that regard. Got a little bit of a reach advantage. Probably why the odds makers are favoring him. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I seen how he kind of folded against the Habibi. So I'm kind of 7-6. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning on Brahmaj. Shakes off his ring rust from that last fight, coming back after 2 years. Got his feet back under him and gets on a roll here. Starts moving along. Yeah, he's out of Fortis MMA. It's a good gym. Yeah, I think Ramiz gets back on track here, ladies and gentlemen. Gets the dub. So far this is a pick'em fight, but we got 2 underdogs, and I'm going to go with the third underdog here as well. Jonata Deniz is taking on Marcin Tybura. This is the last one on the early prelims. And Deniz was supposed to fight Derek Lewis last week or the week before. And Lewis, got sick or whatever. And yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know what happened to Derek Lewis. Did anybody find out what happened to Derek Lewis? I don't know. I don't know what happened to him, man. But he was out of that fight, and now they rebooked Deniz, not against Derek Lewis, against Marcin Tybura, who took this on pretty short notice. But one thing, Tybura is definitely a great grappler. Great grappler. So if he gets a hold of you, it's gonna be a tough night. Deniz is very athletic. So thing that's going for him is that it's not in the apex. Bigger octagon. He'll be able to, move around a lot. He's pretty athletic dude for his size. And yeah, I think with Tybura not being, in camp and not training really for a fight, and just kind of taking this on like a week or two notice, I think it's going to play in Deniz's favor. Even though they have Tybura as the favorite, his sub is plus 275, but I like Deniz to dance around him, bro. Especially with how athletic the guy is. I think he'll dance around him a little bit, and then Tybura will start slowing down, and he'll piece him up and eventually get the dub. That's what I'm gonna roll with. So that's the early prelims. Not too bad on the earlies. Main prelims start off with another fight that was like on 1 day notice. It was like 1 day notice, and man, I have to say, Onama is a 1600 minus, bro. Absolutely insane. Absolutely insane. Because this guy, what is his name? I don't even know his name, bro. Look at this. Roberto Romero. Dude's coming off of Combate Global in Mexico. 8-3-1. Yeah, nobody really knows much about this guy. He's not really battle tested, so I think everybody is everybody's kind of leaning on Onama as well as I. So not too much to talk about here. We got a guy who might steal the show, bro. Who knows? But based on that record, I don't think it'll happen. You know what I'm saying? So tough, tough, tough. Next one up, Jim Miller versus Damon Jackson. I don't know about this one either, bro. Oh, man. I don't know about this one. We got Miller and Jackson. I mean, both guys up there in age, 41, 36, pretty evenly matched, and pretty much everywhere else. And we know Jackson's definitely more of a grappler. He's going to try to take this down to the ground. But honestly, this fight's going to come down to, I think, who gasses first. But I do feel that Jim Miller definitely has the power edge in his back pocket. And if he can catch him, shit, that would be crazy. And it would be nice to see. But I think, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Could be like a sloppy decision. The guys gas out by the second round. But unless that happens, I think we need to pray for Jim Miller to catch this guy, because I don't think Jackson's going to be able to sub him or finish him for that matter. He might win on control points, but I don't think he'll be able to finish Jim Miller. But we'll see, man. We'll see. We'll see. Hopefully he gets it done. We'll be crazy. The guy's at what? How many fights now? Shit, 55? Absolutely wild. 55. Next up, the guy who they changed the gloves for. One of the guys who they changed the gloves for. Mr. Chris Weidman. Going up against Eric Anders. I hope Eric Anders is wearing his goggles today, boys, because, oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. Shout out Bruno Silva. Shout out Bruno Silva. Poor guy. Poor guy. I feel bad for that guy, man. Double eye poke TKO. Some bullshit. Oh, man. But yeah, Weidman's back. New York against Eric Anders. I don't know how I feel about this one either. It's pretty much a pick'em fight on the odds. No idea. No idea what you're going to get from these guys. So we know Weidman's coming off the Bruno Silva eye poke victory. And we got a Pickett win. Oh, for Eric Anders, a decision win over Pickett. Nothing too crazy to, what's it called about? Nothing to run to the bank about, right? Pickett ain't all that. Lost to Barriou. Won against the Dawkins brother. Nothing to run to run to the bank about with that one. Park and Muniz lose losses. I don't know, man. I don't know. Think if Weidman just wrestles him the whole time, he'll probably win. But who knows? Who knows? I know Anders definitely got some power for sure, but he's at a reach disadvantage. Might be hard to get inside there. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. They like the fight probably to go by decision. If it's a decision, I'm going to go with Weidman. Yeah, I think Weidman gets it done. For sure. He's probably going to wrestle a lot. Real heavy. Real heavy. Next one up. To wrap up the prelims, Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGee. The man who we are getting a moment minted on of this week. Mr. Martinez. Marcus McGee's been looking like a killer. Yeah, this one is wild. Fight of the night. McGee has definitely been looking like a killer for sure. And Martinez, outstanding fighter as well in his own regard for sure. You know me, I'm a strength of schedule guy. Martinez definitely has the stronger strength of schedules. Probably his only loss recently. He was on a good tear here. Swanson, Saeed, Yanez, and he lost to arguably the greatest featherweight of all time, Jose Aldo. Just saying. It's not a bad guy to lose to, by no means. Marcus McGee, on the other hand, hasn't really fought anybody at that caliber. So this is his first big test, cracking into that, top 15 area of competition and skill. So it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be real interesting. And he's been knocking people out left and right too, which is pretty crazy. Martinez definitely is a solid striker in his own regard. And I think everybody is going to be in for a treat during this fight. If I have to pick one, I think I'm going to lean on the guy with the harder strength of schedule. I think Martinez will get it done, bro. I think he'll get it done. Both these guys mix it up pretty good too. Yeah, it's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good fight. But I think Martinez just a little bit faster. I think he's just a little bit faster with his strikes. And that's going to prove to be the edge in the fight. And let's take a look at some of these lines here. Decision. Yeah, both guys are tough as nails too. I don't think they really get finished too much in their careers. He got KO'd once by Davy Grant. Long time ago. And he went on a tear, man, after that. Sometimes it takes a loss like that to wake your ass up and make you that killer that you need it to be, Yeah, they do. They definitely think McGee will catch him with the hands based on what those odds look like. So they think plus 210 on the McGee KO. They think McGee's KO is more likely to happen than McGee by decision. So I do like McGee a lot. I just think this is a big step up in competition. Martinez coming off that Aldo loss I think that Aldo loss probably helped him more than anything to level up. And I think he's just going to be a step faster than McGee tonight. I think he gets the job done. Those are our prelims. And now we go to the main card. Don't forget to get your 309s in the chat. Hit the thumbs up on the video for your boy. Because we're getting towards the end. And we got 2 pay-per-view codes to run. And you got to make sure you're here to get it. Because if you ain't, we're rerunning that bitch. Next up, the main card. At the top. Not much to say here, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, we got a minus 1,000 Mauricio Ruffy versus a plus 600 James Yantop. I mean, Yantop's pretty good, but I just think Ruffy is better everywhere, bro. I think he's faster too. And yeah, man, I think Roofy gets it done. The Fighting Nerds keep it rolling. Those glasses come out and MSG. And yeah, he's probably, I mean, the KO is minus 140. The KO is minus 140, and I'm liking that KO. I'm liking that KO. These guys are snipers, man. These guys all from that Fighting Nerds team, they're all pretty much, especially the lower weight class guys, they're snipers, bro. They are snipers. But we'll see. We'll see. A little bit more volume coming from this guy's side, but it's pretty much the same. This guy's way more accurate though with his shots. Yeah, he's gonna find something and put this guy out, I think. So I'm liking Ruffy to get it done. And the Fighting Nerds, baby, bust the glasses out one more time. One more time. Next up, Vivian Araujo versus Karine Silva. So this one, I think this one's pretty much kind of they're tossing this one up for Karine here. Giving her kind of a bone. Because she's definitely the better grappler in this fight, for sure. Probably faster with her strikes, being 7 years younger than the 37-year-old Vivian. But I think this one's teed up for Karine to shine. She's a minus 290 favorite. Points 105. Subby plus 300. Kind of liking that subby possibly. But yeah, I think yeah, like I said earlier, a lot of these fights, there's some heavy favorites that I think are probably going to get it done. Araujo is coming off some losses here to Natalia's Jennifer Maya. She won last year, but lost to Ribas, lost to Grasso. Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight for her if she's not fighting somebody who's a striker. And Karine is definitely not a striker. And even though she's 7 years younger, she has more fights under her belt than Vivian. So she even has more octagon experience. So I'm gonna roll with Karine to get it done. Probably by sub. I'm thinking sub. Maybe second, third round. Gasses her out a little bit in the first second, then she finds a choke somewhere. Now. This is when shit gets real interesting. This is when shit gets really interesting. Man. It's a big test for Bo Nickel, baby. Big test for Bo. And I'm a Bo fan. I like Bo a lot. And but Paul Craig, man, you don't want to mess around with this guy on the ground too much. You know what I'm saying? This guy loves being on his back. Loves chasing submissions from his back. Loves chasing triangle chokes, arm bars, leg locks, like everything under the kitchen sink, bro. This guy will try and do in a fight from the bottom position, which is scary for a guy like Bo Nickel, who likes to be in top position. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. A lot of people are, just like my boys talking about here, a lot of people are referencing Bo Nickel's jiu-jitsu competition fight against Gordon Ryan after like 2 or 3 weeks of training jiu-jitsu. But yeah, you never know. You never know. Bo has, he hasn't fought anybody nearly at the level of Paul Craig, right? They got Bo by TKO, KO 135, submission 175, points plus 800. I mean, the odds are so jacked on this fight, right? You can't take this minus 1,500 at all. But maybe a subby on both guys, maybe. Maybe a subby. Maybe a subby on both sides of the field. Cause that plus 1200 is nasty, and it could happen, bro. It could absolutely happen with this Paul Craig guy. He caught Jamal Hill, caught a few people, caught a few people. But he has gotten subbed. He's got coming off a KO to KO. But yeah, he's it's definitely a fight Bo Nickel can't be looking at like I'm just gonna throw this guy on the floor and steamroll him because yeah, I don't know, man. This guy's slick as hell. But I gotta roll with Bo. Gotta roll with Bo. I'm a fan of the kid. Like what he's yeah, he's solid, bro. He doesn't talk too much shit. He lets his work speak for himself. Good head on his shoulders. I like Bo. Hopefully he gets it done, but it's tough task, man. If Paul Craig catches him in a sub, I would not be surprised at all. But I think at this point, Bo's got enough in his arsenal to defend whatever's gonna come his way, and he'll get the job done. Let's go, Bo. Let's go, Bo. Co-main event, ladies and gentlemen. It's getting spicy now. A rematch, 3 years in the making. One guy's fought a little bit. One guy's been on the shelf the whole time, which is why the first time they fought, the odds were a lot closer. And now the odds are way more in favor of Charles this time around just because Chandler's sitting out year 36 through 38 of his life, awaiting for Conor McGregor to come and fight, which never happened. So he gets on a pissed off Charles DuBronx coming off of a loss to Arman Sarukian. Charles and Michael Chandler will probably be fighting for a title eliminator spot here. Winner of this fight probably faces the winner of Islam versus Arman, as long as there's no crazy, close split decision situation or some bullshit that happens in that fight. But yeah, the winner of this is probably going to go up to the belt next. And I'm sure the UFC definitely promised it to them for sure because Chandler kind of got screwed the last 2 years. So with that said, I'm sorry, Mike. I got to go with DuBronx, bro. The only way Chandler has a shot in this fight is if he catches Charles with something crazy. And based on what happened in their last fight, Chandler, I don't know. You think he's going to come out with like crazy pressure and smoke like he did with all his other fights? Is he going to come out like that? Or is he going to come out a little bit more measured? Because when I was listening to him and interviews and stuff, he was saying, the last fight, I went in there like I was untouchable. Went in there like a bull in a china shop. This time it's not going to be like that. I'm going to be more measured with my approach. So if he plays that fight, I think Charles is going to pick his ass apart, dude. I think Charles is going to pick him apart, man. With the kicks, the range, Charles got 3 inches on him. Charles got 3 inches on him. And the subs are nasty from Charles' side. So Charles KO'd him last time, but bro, Charles finishing is plus 200 by KO and plus 135 by subby. The odds makers do not think this fight is going to go the distance. It is a 3-round fight, so I'm liking DuBronx. I'm liking DuBronx to get it done. Yeah, and I just think the 2 years off, man, the 2 years off for Chandler, it's gonna be rough. He might lose this fight if he comes back like within the next 5-6 months against a relatively good matched opponent for his skill set. Maybe he could get a win, but he's got to be active, bro. It's gonna be tough in there. It's gonna be tough in there against Charles, bro, especially after that long of a layoff. So I'm leaning on Charles, and I'm liking Charles by submission. I think Charles is going to get his back at some point in this fight and choke his ass out. Yep. As I said, guys, there's a lot of heavy favorites on this card. One heavy favorite, two heavy favorite, another heavy favorite, another heavy favorite, and here we go. The main event of the evening. Don't forget to get your 309s in the chat because we are going to run those pay-per-view codes right after this. And whoever wins these codes better be in the chat to claim these bad boys, or I'm going to re-roll it. Don't be coming in here typing 309 and then dipping. We don't play that. Homie, don't play that. You gotta stick around, baby. John Jones versus Stipe Miocic. A fight that's been a year and a half in the making. The fight that's held up the heavyweight division. The fight that Tom Aspinall has been waiting for to happen forever. So we finally get our closure, guys. We finally get our closure. We finally get our closure to the heavyweight division. Jones, obviously, freak of nature, considered the greatest of all time, Dana White's favorite fighter. Dude's a beast, right? I mean, you can't really bet against John. He hasn't lost a fight in his entire life. Can't really bet against a guy who hasn't lost a fight in his entire life. But I will say that Stipe does bring some better challenge to this fight than some of his previous opponents. But I would say I would like Stipe a little bit better if this fight happened 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. Now when Stipe is 42 years old. Stipe is 42 years old, guys. He has a 4-inch reach disadvantage against John Jones. Other than that, pretty much everything is damn near identical on the strikes. Jones a little bit less volume on the striking, a little bit more volume on the takedowns. Stipe, vice versa, more striking volume versus takedown volume. Jones lands a little bit more of his takedowns than Stipe does. As we know, Stipe is more of a boxer. They both are 62.5% at the clip. But yeah, it's tough. It's tough. It's a tough fight. Stipe, man, I don't know, bro. It's hard to gauge, right? It's hard to gauge a guy who hasn't fought since 2021. And that last time we seen him was getting knocked out silly by Francis Ngannou. Granted, he's got some great wins against DC, beat Francis once. But man, this was 4 years ago, 5, 6 years ago, man. He's 42 years old now. And yeah, I don't know, man. He looks, I mean, health-wise and stuff, like when he's standing up, he looks good. But yeah, I don't know, man. I think John Jones is probably going to be much faster in this fight than Stipe. And I think if he gets a hold of him early, grapples him pretty heavily the first round, Stipe is going to be worn out, and it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It's a wrap. Stipe's got some good hand speed, but man, like I said, bro, 4 years out of the octagon, I don't like it. I don't like it. And how can you bet against the guy who's never lost a fight in his career? So anybody can get knocked out for sure. Want to take a flyer, the Stipe KO is plus 700. But man, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I wish we had a different sample of Stipe in the last year, maybe a fight or two in the last year or two. But the last time we seen him, like I said, was 3 years ago, getting knocked out cold by Francis. So with that lasting memory in my head, I can't really go with anybody but John Jones tonight. It is heavyweight MMA. Stipe can absolutely catch him. But I would absolutely be shocked if Stipe caught him. Would be shocked if Stipe caught him. But yep, that's the fight card, ladies and gentlemen. We're on with Jones, and still, hopefully he doesn't vacate. Hopefully he fights Tom Aspinall. I'm just hoping he's causing all this shit, all the drama, and stirring it all up, so he could be like, you know what? I am gonna stay and fight Tom, just to kind of. Hopefully he's just doing this all as mind games to build this shit up. Hopefully. Because if he vacates it and says, I don't want to deal with the heavyweight belt anymore, I'd rather do catchweight fights against guys that I want to fight, like Derek Lewis, and give me Alex Pereira at 230, then I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. I think if he's gonna retire, he should retire and call it a day. He got nothing really else. Nothing else to prove, man. He doesn't really got nothing else to prove. If he really does want to just put a third or fourth or fifth feather in his cap, sure. Fight Tom Aspinall and beat him. Does he have to fight Tom Aspinall and beat him? Nah, he doesn't. Not for his legacy, but yeah, I mean, and I don't like how some of this shit's coming out where they're saying, like, you know, who has Tom fought? Well, it's your fault Tom hasn't fought anybody because you held up his division for a year and a half, bro. Like, come on. He fought everybody that the UFC put in front of him and knocked them out clean in the first round. What else do you want the guy to do? So, yeah, I think, that would be a good fight to see. I mean, that's like the only guy Tom hasn't fought, but Tom's way bigger than Jailton, bro. Jailton's going to have a tough time with Tom's size. And, I think Tom will starch him, bro. I think Tom murders Jailton Almeida. But with that said, let's run some pay-per-view codes, everybody. 309s in the chat. We got some codes to run. We got pick'ems in my server, strike server. Don't forget, poker's probably going to start a couple hours before the prelims start. I'm guessing in like an hour or two. Jailton. I don't know, man. I don't know. Those 309s in the chat. Last call. Appreciate everybody hanging out today. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up for your boy. And let's get into it. First one. Gonna go to, here we go. Code numero uno. Going to Efra Perez, my boy. Mr. Perez cashed in on a code. Congratulations, my brother. Next one, coming in hot. 309 in the chat. Make sure you got your 309s. Efra's been taken out of the pot now. He's out of hell yeah. No problem, brother. I'll get it over to you in a little bit. Last call for the 309s. Number is not moving, so it looks like we're good. Here we go. Good luck, folks. Second one, going to bada bing, bada boom. Real. Mr. Real cashes in on the pay-per-view code, my man. Congratulations. Well, thank you, everybody, for hanging out today. I appreciate you guys. It's been a fun day for sure. Eventful night it's going to be. Didn't like watching Mike Tyson get cooked yesterday. It was bad. It was bad, man. It was bad. But yeah, should be a good night of fights, man. Should be a good night of fights. The GOAT's back. John Jones is fighting. Should be interesting. Should be interesting. But don't forget to get your pick'ems done. Strike server, my server. Poker's going to probably start up in a little bit. They'll post that in the community creators channel. But until then, next time, I'm out. Peace, y'all.
The guy named Diddley had a dream so big it made him feel all giddy. He loved UFC, the fights and the thrills, so he started a podcast to share all the chills. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Break down the fights, every punch and kick. Analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights would leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Every punch and kick, analyze the moves, every trick and flick, comparing each fighter, their strengths and flaws. Diddley's insights will leave you in awe. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. NFTs and fighters, a digital blend. Diddley's got the scoop, he's always on trend. From rare collectibles to the latest bout, the Final Strike podcast, there's never a doubt. Listeners from afar, they gather around for Diddley's insights, the best in town. With every episode, his fame would grow. The Final Strike podcast, the ultimate show. Even when the market's tough and times are lean, Diddley's resilience shines, he's always keen. Through highs and lows, he stands his ground. In the world of UFC, he's renowned. Oh, Diddley's on the mic with the final strike, talking UFC, NFTs all night. From the octagon to the blockchain, he's got the hype. Tune in, listen up, it's the final strike. Podcast stream, bringing UFC and NFTs to the mainstream. With every word, he lights up the night. The Final Strike podcast, shining so bright.